Okay, so switching gears here, Billy Porter has revealed he has secretly lived with being HIV positive for 14 years. He told The Hollywood Reporter he did his diagnosis for so long, or hid rather, out of shame. Watch.
My childhood was fraught with a lot of religious shaming. Growing up in the Pentecostal church, I was shamed for my behavior, for my attributes, from the minute I could comprehend thought, and, you know, told I would never be blessed, and told that AIDS was God's punishment for gays.
Wow, Billy said he was able to work through a lot of that shame thanks to his character on Pose, who is also HIV positive. He also recently told his mother, who told him that she loves him no matter what. This breaks my heart because there is so much still, 30 years later, even though being HIV positive is not a death sentence or even the same disease that it was 30 years ago. I mean, people that are HIV positive can be, and they're undetectable, can't spread it. You can take a pill to prevent it. So it makes me sad that, Erica, there's so much still stigma, shame, misinformation attached to this diagnosis that it's crushing people. I mean, he just recently told his mother.
Oh, that is not surprising at all. I mean, think about the AIDS epidemic in the 80s. That was the genesis for really stereotyping a community that was already under attack, that was already considered like socially, pariahs. So the idea that someone would contract the disease that people were preying on to them in terms of AIDS, of course he's not going to share that. But Pose on FX, the show that he stars on, if you're somebody who is even a little flexible and you're thinking this isn't even your thing, I would suggest you watch it because it really shows the evolution of the LGBTQ plus community through the 80s, what things were like, how our country and our government really was not a support, in fact, an enemy. It's just, it's so beautifully done, and I'm glad that he found his voice through his character because I know he's helping so many people right now.
Yeah, and Erica, I'll just say that, we're talking about him and like his message that he's giving to the world, but we never think about Billy and like what he's being able, just imagine being able to take that off, take that raincoat of just like all the shame that was heaped on him unfairly and just kind of remove all that, say this is who I am, and then everybody is just like, yeah, we love you.
Yeah, but so but that's where this is where I'm confused, because you do see some shame here, right? I can't imagine what he must be feeling. But there has been 30 years of progress, and I get, believe me, the stigma and everything surrounding the AIDS epidemic and how this already marginalized community were completely preyed upon. I get that. How in 30 years are people still holding on to outdated misinformation associated with being HIV? I don't even think people, if you were to go down on the street, people would know that it's not a death sentence anymore.
Well, I think the biggest example of that is Magic Johnson, right? I think we saw Magic live through this, but I was just talk about ignorance. I'll point to myself first and foremost. I was talking to one of our producers, Michael Dean over there. I did not know that someone with AIDS,
HIV positive,
you could take some pills and almost use that, and definitely use that as a prophylactic against the AIDS. I didn't know that.
Right.
So I'm ignorant in that sense. But when we talk about representation all the time on this show, it comes in all forms, shapes, colors, stigmas, whatever it may be.
Diagnoses.
You have to talk about that, right? So I didn't know, had it not been for Billy in this story, I wouldn't have talked to my producer in just a casual conversation, and I would not have known that. So that's why representation is so important.
But now your sons are going to know that.
Absolutely.
And that's how these kind of stigmas go away. In another couple of years, people will know a lot more. So I'm excited about the younger generation.
Amen. Well said, Jeff. Okay, so
not me, just right over my head. Cool.
And she told Erica she looks really great
right
twice.
Over the two pieces of glass.
Compliment?
Like, I don't want to.
I can't.
Al, I like your pin, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
And I love you as a person inside.
Do you see how that works, Sam? Well, build your co-host up.